Hey everyone, it's Graeme Street and you're joining with me for my 2012 bike setup for the Rev 3 70.3 Quasi event that I have coming up this Sunday. Probably one of the toughest, if not the toughest, 70.3 in the continental US. Ask any pro or any age grouper that's done it or recon, they'll tell you the bike course and run course are off the charts. About 3,800 feet of vertical gain for the bike course, all undulating, almost no flat sections at all on the course, so it's either up or down the entire day, and then a run course that's equally tough with rolling terrain. So setting up your bike correctly is key. Once again this year, I am choosing to go road bike style with clip-ons. Even though I have the Cervelo P3, probably one of the best time trial bicycles in the world, I am still opting for the road bike setup, and the reason being is for the level of severity of climbing in the course. Now, even though I reviewed this for you last year, I've made some modifications to the bike this year and some changes to my gear that I thought I would highlight for you, let you get your own input and ideas on what you want to do. Starting with changing out my crank this year. As you know, I'm a big fan and supporter and reseller of Rotor products, both their Q-rings and their Rotor cranks. I still say some of the best products on the market today as far as drivetrain goes. What I have done this year is I've shortened my crank arm length from 175 down to 170 millimeters. It's a 5 millimeter drop-off, which is quite significant in the drivetrain. One of the reasons I've done that is it's allowed me a lower position on the bike and allowed me a little bit more hip flexor engagement a little bit further up into the saddle here. As you know, when you're on a road bike in comparison to a standard TT bike, you have quite a bit more slack in the seat tube angle. Typically a triathlon bike is going to be quite a bit steeper than this, probably about 3 or 4 degrees steeper than I'm running on the standard S3 Cervelo road bike. And the shorter crank arm allows me a better hip angle on this bike with a lower stack height on the front end. I wish I could actually even get this a little bit lower, but that's pretty much maxed out. I think I get another 5 mils. I may be able to drop that, which I'm probably going to do tonight. I'm using the standard, again, profile clip-on bars. I was actually debating, because of the severity of the climbing on this course, I was debating to actually drop the aero bars altogether, because again, it's all climbing. And these aren't little popper climbs like the Poconos event that I did last year, which was definitely in my favor. Short, big power climbs that last, 30 seconds to 2 or 3 minutes. The Quasi course has multiple climbs that take 6, 8, 10, 12 minutes to climb or more. Big sustained efforts, and they're not going to be in the aero bar like efforts. They're definitely going to be on the tops or on the hoods. And again, I say for myself, again, this doesn't go for everybody, but for myself, with that much climbing, with 3,800 feet of vertical, long, sustained climbing, I'd rather have a lighter bike setup, which this is about 3 pounds lighter than my P3. And I'd like to have a little bit slacker seat tube angle, because it allows me to use a little bit more of my road style climbing position, which gives me a big advantage for more sustained power. And since I'm a bigger, heavier guy, that's a big advantage for me. So again, I could probably be a little bit faster in some situations on the P3, but because of the severity of the climbing, the slacker angle really helps me out. And more importantly, a lot of the downhills on this course, I think, going to be a big alarm bell for a lot of the triathletes going to show up that have not reconned the course. A lot of these descents are pretty hairy and very fast. We're talking 35 to 40 miles per hour plus. And if you feel confident with crosswinds and descending at 40 miles per hour in your your TT bars, more power to you. But I, for one, like to be low and in control and have my hands near those brakes if needed. And that makes for a big deal for me. I have a lot more confidence with that, and because I'm more confident, I'm willing to take more risks on the descent to gain some more speed. If I'm on my TT bike, I'm a little bit more hesitant. I'm not quite as aerodynamic on the descents, and again, there's a lot of time to be made up on this particular course for the descent. So I'm choosing a more traditional drop bar with my standard hoods, a lot more confidence because of my confidence riding this bike as a road cyclist, not just as a triathlete. Some other modifications compared to last year. I'll still be running my 58 front. I think last year I was running my 38 carbon front and rear. This year I'm going to opt for a little bit more aerodynamics. I do have an 85 carbon available. I will not be running it, and one of the reasons why is because of actually this bike is so aerodynamic as it is that when I put the 85 on, I get quite a bit of downhill wind shear. And although I can still handle the bike over a 56-mile course, the advantages I get from going from a 58 to an 85, I just don't feel are worth it. So I still get a little bit of sideways wind shear with this, but not so much where I feel the bike is a little bit itchy on the descent. So again, that's a personal judgment call. You can make whatever judgment call you want. And I think most of us tend to go aero without really thinking about all the practicalities that we have to consider in relation to our bike setup. I'm going to be on a compact 50-34 and a 1126 rear cassette. To be honest with you, I have debated about going up to a 27 or 28 cassette, but at this late stage in the game, I'm going to stick with the 3426. I believe it's enough gear for me for the course. Again, the only real climb that concerns me is the one at mile 22. It's about a 7-mile climb, a couple false flats on the top, and about 8% all the way up. So it's a serious climb. It's not a joke, and it's going to definitely take a lot of power for a heavier guy like myself to get up. I'm estimating probably 300 to 320 watts for that 7 miles. That's a threshold level effort for me, so I have to be careful and budget that down. But I think right now with my fitness, this gear ratio will be appropriate. I don't have the time to make a jump to the 28 and dial in the rear derailleur, so I'm going to take my chances with what I've got. Other changes, I've removed the TT saddle, the Specialized TT saddle, in place of more of a mountain bike friendly saddle, the Specialized Phenom. I use this on all of my Niner 29-inch mountain bikes with great success. I've been testing it with the S3. I feel much more confident, mostly not because of the padding, but because it's narrower through the front end. And I, for one, with big kind of meaty legs, especially on the insides of my legs, if I have too wide of a saddle, like a TT saddle, although there's more cushioning on it, it tends to cause me to get a lot of wear and tear in my, my area, and that's no good, because when I move from the bike to the run, those welts can begin to build up. So I've tested with the Phenom, had much greater success. I would love to have it a little bit softer here on the front end, obviously, but I'd rather exchange softness on the front end for narrowness on the front end to make sure that my, my innards here stay intact. Other modifications are within my nutrition. I'm going to go with a different route this year than I did last year. Last year I had a front bag. I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to tape 3 to 4 hammer gels here to the front. Very quick and easy to remove. I've seen this tactic quite often. This is my first year actually attempting it. Again, I'm kind of new to triathlon, so trying all this stuff. Typically I keep this stuff in my back pocket, but I'm going to keep as minimal stuff in my back pocket this year as I can and tape them here. I've been practicing this. I really like this technique. Really quick and easy to get. Really quick and easy to get into your body. I'm going to still be using my 24-ounce Camelbacks, one here and here. They're obviously monstrous, but my objective is to get through the entire 56-mile bike course with just the 48 ounces, possibly grabbing a water bottle if need be. On the course, we're expecting about 72 degrees and moderate temperatures. The humidity's been really hot lately, but really dropped off, so I'm feeling really good about that. I've made some changes in my tires. Last year I was running, I think, Michelin Pro on the front, and I was running a Vittoria Open Pave, the green one, the off-season-like tire, in the rear. And although for the Poconos in October last year that was a great setup, this year you want a much faster tire. And I have gone with an old standby, the Vittoria Open Corsa EVO CXs. I'm going with 25s, as you can see here, as opposed to the standard 23. I'm a big fan of lower pressure, wider tires. I'm faster on them. I've tested myself again and again. I'm much faster on them. I'm much more confident in sweeping, sharp angle corners. I'm much more confident with my descents on 25s. I know many of you are bigger believers in high pressure 23, 21 millimeter tires. Man, that stuff just beats the crap out of me. I mean, again, maybe for you it's great, but over a 56-mile course, I'm running my tire pressure about 102 to 105 PSI on 25 mils, and it is a very fast setup. I think you see more and more pros and more pro triathletes moving to 25s for different reasons. I think compliance is probably the #1 reason. Strength in the corners, the confidence in the corners is another major reason, especially for a very technical course. I think it has some huge advantages. Let's talk really quickly about the gear for my feet. Again, if you don't think your feet gear is important with a triathlon, then you haven't done triathlon, especially at the half iron distance and above. What you choose about your feet is imperative, because once these things go bad within the confines of a course, you're screwed. So I'm going to be probably going, and this is debate right now, I've either got my Mavic road shoes, which I love, great shoes, but they're kind of clunky to put on in transition. I don't care about the time loss. What I care about is my foot position on the bike. More than likely, I'm going to use my specialized, triathlon-specific shoes. I've had these for a couple years. I do like them. I'm more than likely going to go with low-cut socks directly from the swim into the bike and use the socks throughout. And if I need to, I'm going to have a second set of dry socks available when I dismount the bike. If I've sweated a lot, which I anticipate I will, I'm more than likely going to take the extra 20 seconds to swap my socks out before putting on these very easy to get on shoes. This is my first movement over to the Brooks Pure Flow. They are absolutely fantastic. I will say the first time I did run on them, I was running very, very fast on them. I was running a very aggressive 8-miler, and I was towing off a lot on the last couple miles. And these shoes are definitely a mid-foot striker shoe. And although they're great with the mid-strike, if you're trying to tow off at really fast paces, meaning probably in the 6:30 and faster pace, they're not so great. They cause me to have a lot of blistering issues. You can see that blister there. That's caused from the towing off. I was sockless that day as well. I will be going with socks. I have now tested this at the 10-mile distance and above with socks at my half iron pace. They're fantastic. They really give a lot of extra cushion and still be very light. So last year I ran on my Kinvaras. I still love the Kinvaras 1 and 2. The problem with the Kinvaras is that past about 10 miles, especially for me and my heavier set build, they're just not enough support. They really tend to beat up my feet past 10 miles. Below 10 miles, they're fantastic, but above 10 miles, not so great. What I like about this is when I come off the bike, the Pure Flow, the way that these are set up, that midfoot right there is just so beautiful. I mean, it literally just pushes your body right off the ground, which is, of course, is what you're looking for. You don't want that slap foot scenario when you're coming off the bike, which many of us will have. We want to be having that nice pushback up into our body where the shoe is assisting in that leverage up. And that shoe, for me anyway, has really proved to be great. I will be using the Giro Advantage 2 helmet. I was supposed to use it last year. Because of the conditions of the course for that day, I opted to not do that. I will absolutely be using the Giro 2 helmet this year. I do believe a road bike with clip-ons, good aero wheels, and the helmet makes a huge, huge difference. I'd say, in fact, if anything, the Aero Teardrop helmet is probably a 3 to 5 minute savings right there with a good position. Again, it requires a good position on the bike. So if you're wearing one of these, you're still propped up really high on the bike, not really going to help you. But if you're nice and low and tucked in and you're keeping your head looking forward as opposed to looking constantly down, that helmet makes for a big, big advantage. So again, this is my bike for the 2012 Rev 3 70.3 Quasi. I hope this review has been helpful. If you have any questions for me, please let me know. I can't get back to everybody. I have a lot of people that view my channel every day, but it's an honor to have you here. Remember, you can get my iPhone and iPad app if you want to watch my YouTube videos for free directly on that app. You can get it at the iTunes store or the Google or Droid store or whatever. If you want to look at my training that I've been doing for this event and for other events for thousands of you around the world, I know many of you are using my Cyclo-90 programs, my Core 2.0 programs, same stuff that I use. I use the exact same systems. Please visit cyclo-core.com. That's my major website if you're not already there, and look to buy my Cyclo-90 training system. Quick, simple, fast, and effective way to get you strong for anything from road cycling, mountain biking, to triathlon and beyond. I will talk to you soon, and I'll keep you posted on how the Quasi event went. I'm a little bit nervous about this one, but I think I'm feeling better about it now and ready to kick some ass. I'll talk to you later.